Hey everybody, how you doing? It's Rich. Well, lots of emails on how I grade and rate a specific piece of wood as a Bokken blank. Now, one of the big conflicts in these emails seems to be, I go to your site and I see AB. I go to other sites and I see density. What's all that about? Well, rating a piece of wood by its density is the standard. But the fact is, the impact grades of hickory are one of 4 species. They include the mockernut hickory, pignut, shellbark, and shagbark hickory. Now, if it's one of the other grades of hickory, nutmeg, or bitternut, or pecan, water hickory, whatever, look, they simply aren't dense enough to be included in the impact grade hickory. You might be asking me this density and how do I figure all that out and what's that all about. Look, you can go to the site at www.ensobuki.com. Under the hickory blank section is an article I've done, Why Impact Grade Hickory, and it'll clarify with some charts and other things. I've also attached a couple other links on there on the bottom of that page that take you to some other articles by some other guys. I'm happy to include other cutters' information on there. They are the established and recognized pros in this business. I am just an amateur having fun. Even though I've said A and B, certainly there are degrees of variation in that. I kind of say a B is a B. It's acceptable as a Bokken, but it's not the ideal piece of wood. It's not something I'd make a Bokken out of and give it as a gift, for instance, to a senior teacher. On the other hand, an A, I might rate as an A, but I acknowledge there's A plus as well. There is the perfect piece of wood. So what I'm going to do here is pull some blanks down off of the rack. We'll go through a few different B's, a few different A's, and kind of give you an idea of what I would consider an A as opposed to like an A plus, and what I consider a B and why I consider it a B. Now, boards typically come cut 5/4 thick. They're typically quarter sawn. Now that can mean a few different things. And in fact, let me put a graphic up here real quick and kind of show you a few examples.
Now this is very typical of how a log from a typical sawmill is cut. But in this example you can see some specialty type saw cuts that a sawyer might do.
As you can see from different ways that a sawyer may cut his log or quarter saw his log, depending on what he's doing, they may be a different width. This section here, for instance, you can see how the saw marks are a little different, but you can see the grain running this way at about 45-degree angle as we hold it to the vertical, as opposed to maybe this section, which if we cut out a blank, you can see actually runs nice and vertical. So that's something, I might cut this out and take that section when I'm selecting blanks out of this piece. This one I've rated as a B. And I've rated it as a B because of the end grain. You can see the end grain is kind of angled there. You can really see the distinction between the sapwood and the heartwood. Also on this one you can see that you have a bit of a feature here, a knot. Now that's going to be in the handle section. And this blank is 48 inches long, so we may very well cut off, who knows, that much off the end, depending on how long I want it. So that knot would be right in the middle of the handle. A beautiful feature. Now this will make a beautiful Bokken, no doubt about it, but B grade. Here's another B. Again, I selected this because it has that heartwood-sapwood separation. A lot of the Bs are all heartwood or all sapwood, mostly all sapwood. But again, the grain cuts right across the piece, and then back this way. The grain on the angle is very much angled. On the end, rather, is very much angled. And you can really see it here with the separation of the heart and the sap. Makes a beautiful Bokken. And kind of a last example here of a B grade. Again, you can see very sharply the angle. Now I've selected most of these that have a heartwood-sapwood separation so you can really see the thing, but it's not the case where you're always getting a heartwood-sapwood combination. A lot of the weapons I have are made of just sapwood or just heartwood. Okay, and the way that grain angles off to the edge like that, I just don't dig that. That's just not that nice vertical grain straight up that I would call an A. However, very acceptable for a weapon, so we rate it as a B. Okay, so let's look at some A's. This is an all heartwood A. This is what I would call an absolute A+. I might even go so far as to go A++ with this thing. This is a very nice select piece of wood. You can see the perfect vertical grain as you hold this weapon in a using type fashion. The grain is vertical to the ground. So as you hit this weapon along the edge, nice and multiple layered strike. The grain on this one runs perfectly from one end to the other, and literally you could measure it with a ruler with a straight edge, one end to the other. It is flawless with no knots or anything else. So this A+ stuff, of course, is what people really are looking for, especially if they're looking for a weapon for their teacher or maybe a senior shihan. Here's another A grade, again. Nice vertical grain on both ends. And that straight grain that runs all the way down. Really nice piece of wood. And again, this is the kind of thing which I'd be looking at making a weapon or sending to someone who intends to either have a really premier weapon in their hands when they're using it, or intends to give it as a gift. So another A grade, but an A grade, not an A+. This particular piece of wood has, as you can see, has kind of a heartwood, sapwood feature. But the grain runs off to the edge. But from, let's say, where the handle would be to the end of the weapon, beautiful straight grain. This one is going to be pretty. And I kind of prefer them with a little feature. But still very much an A grade. But not that A++ kind of thing. It's kind of a last thing to look at as we look at a piece of wood for a Bokken blank. The growth density. In the space of my thumb, so there's some extra here on this piece, if we count, and I did it beforehand, there's 18 or 19 years of growth between there and there. Okay, so blanks and kind of how we say what's good and what's better and what's unacceptable. Honestly, if you're looking for a specific blank I've shown in this vid, it's gone. It's gone. I just moved too many of them. Go to the site if you're interested, www.ensobuki.com. If I can hook you up, I will. This is not my primary function in life, so if I'm traveling or if I'm out, please be patient with me. You can purchase from me, but you go to your local hardwood dealer and get it too. I'm not trying to make a million here. I'm trying to pass on some ideas and some experience of mine from what I've had good luck with and what bad luck with. I do want to take 1 second here and say thanks for everybody who's written the mails and for all the kind words. I get a lot of mails every day, so if I delay to get back to you, I apologize. I do try to get back with every email and comment on the vids as often as I can. Please take a second and make a comment and rate the video. I appreciate it, and hey, have a good one.